On the morning of February 27, 2023, sheriff's deputies arrived at a quiet family home to carry out what should have been a routine eviction, unaware of the storm of emotions brewing within its walls. What they would witness that day would leave an indelible scar on the hearts of those who knew the family and the community they left behind. As the deputies approached, they knocked but received no response. Moments later, upon stepping inside and announcing their presence, a chilling sequence of events unfolded. A muffled voice cried out,
"No, no, no, no,"
followed by a rapid burst of gunfire. When the dust settled, the deputies were met with a scene of unimaginable horror. A family that once seemed to be living a normal life had been shattered by an act of unthinkable violence. Questions lingered in the minds of detectives and the community, leaving them wondering what truly occurred that day and what could have led to this devastating moment. And most importantly, could it all have been prevented? This is the tragic case of the Cain family. In the peaceful enclave of Ohio Township, where well-kept lawns and warm neighbors created an image of suburban harmony, no one could have foreseen the darkness that would soon engulf the Cain family. The foundation of this tragedy had been laid long before that fateful day, with unseen struggles simmering beneath the surface of their seemingly ordinary lives. Ohio Township, one of the earliest settlements in Claremont County, Ohio, a picturesque area graced with rolling hills, winding creeks, and abundant parks, a place many would be eager to call home. Yet, for the Cain family, the American dream had slipped beyond reach, becoming nothing more than an illusion. To fully grasp the gravity of this heartbreaking story, let's first journey back to where it all began, shall we? The Cain family lived on a 3-acre property in Ohio Township, occupying a 2-story, 3-bedroom house built in 1990. They had purchased the home for $212,000 in July 2015. The household consisted of 46-year-old Teresa Cain, her husband 50-year-old Stephen Cain, their 2 children, 20-year-old Samantha and 13-year-old Ethan, as well as Teresa's 74-year-old father, William Felton. The family had relocated from Connecticut to Ohio nearly 8 years before the tragic events unfolded, following Stephen's job offer at Procter & Gamble. From an outsider's perspective, Teresa appeared to be an average suburban mother. Their next-door neighbor, Tricia Bossy, recalled first meeting them and how their friendship developed over time. Stephen was also recognized as the lead vocalist of a local groove/thrash metal band called Critical Chaos. The Cains seemed well integrated into their community, with both children enrolled in New Richmond schools. Samantha had recently graduated from New Richmond High School, while Ethan attended New Richmond Middle School. However, despite the outward appearance of a stable life, the family was secretly battling significant financial hardship. By May 2022, the foreclosure of their home by Freedom Mortgage Corporation was a matter of public record, signaling the family's financial troubles, though few were aware of just how dire their situation had become. The mortgage company reclaimed the property at a sheriff's sale and arranged for a crew to begin the eviction process. At the time, Freedom Mortgage Corporation had garnered a reputation for being difficult to work with, as reflected in numerous negative online reviews, with some customers describing the company as disorganized and frustrating. Despite these hurdles, Teresa Cain remained compliant with the sheriff's office throughout the foreclosure proceedings, yet she concealed the true severity of their financial struggles from her family. Teresa Cain and her family were all too familiar with financial hardship. Their difficulties ultimately led to foreclosure, shattering what little stability they had managed to hold onto. To outsiders, the extent of their financial troubles wasn't immediately obvious, but it had been a persistent burden on the family for quite some time. While Teresa appeared cooperative with the sheriff's office, there was an underlying sense of isolation and secrecy surrounding her actions. Despite the impending crisis, the Cain household remained unsettlingly quiet. No moving boxes, no visible preparations, just the continuation of their daily routine as if nothing were about to change. The foreclosure notice loomed like a ticking clock, and as the deadline drew near, the sense of tension became almost tangible. Teresa kept the eviction hidden, possibly out of embarrassment or the denial of facing reality. Her lack of visible preparations hinted at the overwhelming weight she bore alone, as if admitting the truth was too painful even for her own family. She reassured the sheriff's office that they had somewhere to go, mentioned she still had a few belongings left to pack and requested extra time, promising to be ready to vacate by 10 a.m. on Monday. There may have been subtle hints of financial distress, such as discussions about the need to economize drastically, selling belongings, or the unexplained appearance of for sale signs on personal items. In hindsight, those who knew the family might recognize these as warning signs, fragments of a much larger picture that wasn't fully clear at the time. These realizations serve as a poignant reminder of the importance of community vigilance and support, emphasizing the need to check in on those who may be quietly facing hardships. The sheriff's deputies, assigned the difficult task of carrying out the eviction, had no way of knowing the emotional turmoil brewing inside the Cain home. When they arrived that day to fulfill their duty, the hidden struggles and unspoken anguish would erupt in a way that would leave a lasting impact on everyone who had known the family. On the morning of February 27, 2023, as deputies approached to serve the eviction notice, Teresa Cain, who had previously assured authorities that the family had somewhere to go and would be out by 10 a.m., hurried inside upon spotting them. A deputy knocked on both the front and back doors, but received no response. Stepping inside, he identified himself as a member of the sheriff's office, only to hear a muffled, "No, no, no, no," immediately followed by a rapid succession of gunshots. Teresa Cain unleashed a volley of gunfire from within the home, seemingly in a desperate attempt to hold the deputies at bay. Then, with one final fateful shot, the chaos ceased, and an eerie silence descended. Once it was safe to proceed, deputies entered the residence and were met with a horrifying scene. Investigators believe that just minutes before law enforcement arrived to serve the eviction papers, Teresa had already decided to carry out the tragic act. She first shot her husband, Stephen, as he sat on a couch downstairs, then her son, Ethan, her daughter, Samantha, followed by her father, William, before turning the weapon on herself. Samantha suffered a critical gunshot wound to the head but survived. Authorities believe all the victims were awake and likely aware of what was unfolding. No belongings had been packed, leading deputies to conclude that Teresa had concealed the eviction from her family until the very end. After the tragedy, Samantha Cain, the only survivor of the shooting, was critically wounded and rushed to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center, where she received urgent medical care. Thanks to the swift response of healthcare professionals, she began her long journey to recovery. Over a month after the February 27th incident, she regained consciousness and continued rehabilitation. She was able to track movement with her eyes, had some mobility in her legs, and could grasp and squeeze hands. The community rallied behind her, raising funds to support her medical expenses. A GoFundMe campaign, initially set at a $25,000 goal, exceeded expectations by collecting over $38,000 within a short period. Both her father's band, Critical Chaos, and the community urged people to donate, highlighting her remarkable progress in recovery. The heartbreaking event deeply impacted the New Richmond School District, where both Cain children had been students. In a statement shared on the district's website, Superintendent Tracy Miller expressed the community's grief, saying, "We are stunned and saddened by the loss of Ethan Cain. Ethan was loved by students and staff alike, and his loss leaves a tremendous hole in the heart of our district and our community. We also ask you to keep Ethan's sister, a recent New Richmond High School graduate, Samantha Cain, in your thoughts as well. The entire New Richmond community is behind her in this fight." The tragedy highlighted the devastating toll financial stress can take on individuals and families. Although Teresa Cain had cooperated with the sheriff's office throughout the foreclosure process, her actions on February 27th were both shocking and heartbreaking. The impact was deeply felt within the local school district, where both children had been students, prompting the presence of counselors throughout the week to support grieving students and staff. Authorities also investigated whether mental health struggles contributed to the incident and provided counseling services to the deputies and staff who had witnessed the horrific scene. Reflecting on the devastation, Sheriff Leahy remarked, "It is tragic and unnecessary. What can we do to keep this from happening again? Well, I'm just not that sure that we can. When people are in crisis, it's not as easy as just reaching out and saying, 'I need help.' They are spiraling. Nothing makes sense." Teresa Cain's case serves as a powerful reminder that profound struggles can exist behind the facade of a seemingly stable life. It highlights the critical need for accessible resources and support systems for those experiencing financial and emotional hardship, as well as the importance of fostering greater awareness and conversations around mental health. The The tragic story of the Cain family stands as a call to action, urging communities to check in on those who may be suffering in silence and to create a space where individuals feel secure enough to seek help before it's too late. The crushing burden of Teresa Cain's hidden struggles and financial despair were undeniably the forces that drove her to such tragic actions. Even so, no hardship, however great, can truly justify the selfish path she chose and the evil deeds she committed. It, however, raises the question, if she had reached out for help when the pressure became unbearable, could the outcome have been different, perhaps even positive? For reasons we may never fully comprehend, instead of seeking support or confiding in those around her, she chose to shoulder the burden alone, leaving behind a path of heartbreak and destruction. What happened to the victims in this case is truly devastating and heart-wrenching. Our thoughts go out to those whose lives were tragically cut short, to the one whose world was forever altered, and to their loved ones left to navigate the aftermath of this tragedy. If you found this video compelling, be sure to like and share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.